Celebrating Women's International Day, this week we have Mansi Sharma, counseling psychologist who specializes in women mental health, and that's what we are going to talk to her about. Hi Mansi, welcome on the Interviews Ready platform, and we are very happy to have you over here. So my first question to you is that how do you think is mental health different for men and women?
Okay. So this is a very controversial topic, but I will summarize it in a very simple manner. For men and women, mental health is not that different because there are not a lot of research for men. So mental health as overall is similar for men and women. I won't say absolutely similar, but काफी similar होते हैं. लेकिन इतना research हुआ ही नहीं कभी men के ऊपर, तो mental health पे बात ही नहीं हो पाई उनके लिए. But if I only talk about women, yes, women go through a lot of phases in their life. They go through puberty, then it comes to their marriage, their sex life, then it comes to their pregnancy, then menopause, and there are so many things which they go through. So there are a lot of things in a women's life which they go through, and that can affect their mental health. And because इतनी research भी हो गई है इसके ऊपर, then इतनी सारी बातें हम mental health के around revolve करते हैं, women mental health के around revolve करते हैं. So when it comes to trauma, women feels in a different way. When it comes to death of a family member, they feel in a different way. And when it comes to all the hormonal changes that they feel in a different way. But to be very honest, because research nahi hui hai men ke liye, so that the difference is not too much. Once the research is done for men, you will know that we are not that different.
Okay. So don't you think that women are more sensitive than men by the virtue of...
I would say they vocalize themselves. Okay. When it comes to mental health, when it comes to their emotions, females are more expressive.
Okay.
And then they vocalize it and they talk about their feelings. That's when the mental health process starts.
Okay, that's great. That brings me to the next question, which is, how do you deal with toxic people, especially in a workplace?
Okay. Toxic is a very strong term.
Okay.
We can't say people are toxic. It's just that sometimes if I say again in very simple words, sometimes our vibe doesn't match. Sometimes some people are very dominating. Some people are little. They have a different personality trait that it doesn't gel with us. So I won't say toxic is a good term. Toxic is a very negative term. So we can't call anybody toxic. But when it comes to people where some people are dominating and some people our vibe doesn't match with them, that's when the problem starts. That's when the conflict starts.
True.
How to deal with it? It's very, very, very important for female in this time to be assertive. They need to be assertive to have their goals, to have their wants, to have their needs in their life and especially at the workplace. They have to come up. If they don't feel that this is something that they don't like it, they have to come up and say it on their face. Submissive होना सही नहीं है, assertive, aggressive होना सही नहीं है, लेकिन सही time पर revert करना and taking stand for yourself and being assertive, replying to the same level so that the other person understands that we are at the same place, we are at the same place, and we are going to revert if you're not going to treat us right. Okay. So this is very important. The very important thing is being assertive. At the workplace, very, very important. You have to take stand for yourself. You have to speak for yourself. You can't expect other people to understand. Sometimes what happens is that I am expecting something from you, and we project it in our mind that you have to behave in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
How will you know that you have to behave in a certain way with me? Unless and until I vocalize it. Unless and until I stand by you and tell you, listen, this is wrong. You have to listen to me. Maybe we have to be a little polite and assertive, the mixture of both, but we have to be assertive. This is the first and the most important thing that we can do at a workplace.
I think that's really very important, and I think a very good point made, that you have to tell the other person what you're liking, what you're not liking, for in order to let them know that this is
Yes.
acceptable, this is not working.
Exactly. Saying at the same, if somebody is mistreating you, tell them at the same level that that is not right. Saying no is important. It is very, very,
Yes.
saying no does not mean okay, I am saying no, so I can push you and tell you कि थोड़ा सा तो और काम कर दो. Why? No means no, and we have to be firm and we have to be strong enough to say no at that point of time. Just because we are females, we cannot let anybody go on top of us and say that no, you have to do this. No. And there are fixed times. Why should we work after that? I mean, and a lot of my clients, being female, male, I'll talk about both genders. Sometimes what happens is after work, भी काम मिल रहा है और वो कर भी रहे हैं, and that's not right. I mean, there's a fixed time. Sometimes it's okay to work, project work है, ठीक है. Sometimes it's okay to work, but उसके बाद, why? You have your family, you have your personal space. It's important. ये burnout का phase है. It's important to have a line. You have to have your own personal space. It's very important because आपका mental health वहाँ पर भी खराब हो रहा है जब आपको अपनी personal space नहीं मिल रही. When it comes to your personal space, when you're relaxed, when you're calm, your efficiency is doubled. So it is important. When it is a Sunday, don't work. When it is after hours, don't work. Apart from project work, please understand, you need to understand that burnout is the worst thing that if anything can happen to you. So mental health is, if you're taking care of your mental health, burnout is one thing that you need to take care of.
True. Rather, when you were talking about this, that you have to say no, you have to have fixed hours. I just remember one time when I was single in Bangalore, I was working, and I think my boss always used to say that, why do you want to leave at just .6? And I knew that from 9 to 6, I was working. I was not taking breaks. I was not chit-chatting. He said, you're single. You don't have a family to go to. And why? You don't even have a friend circle. And as far as I know you, you don't even like to party. So what is it that you do? And I used to keep looking at him. What should I tell him? And that I just go watch TV and that's my relaxation time. And you made a very valid point that is very important.
Very important. And for females, it is very, very, very important to have their personal space. They have so many things around. If there is a working woman, she's at home. Today, equality is also there. I'm not saying it is not there. We are still progressing in that area. And they have to handle so many things. And when they come home, they just want to relax. Just maybe watch TV, maybe not do anything. Just watch TV. It's the best. That is your own time. Maybe you're watching Netflix. Maybe you're just scrolling through Instagram. But that is your time. You cannot let anybody enter that time, especially work.
True. So this brings us to, how do you deal with that, feeling of losing confidence? Because, there would always be people at workplace who are working more than you, especially the male members, because they don't have to really go home and do a lot of chores. And somewhere that, as an employer, that they take a seat higher than what a female is doing. The moment she says, no, I have to go home, I have a kid, or I have to do this. So I know that your work speaks, but then day to day, it somewhere, your confidence shakes. When your boss is giving a better project to your male colleague than to you. What do you do in such scenarios? Any quick tips or answers, or, showing them the mirror that this is what it is?
So there's a very simple activity that I always do with me also and with other of my other clients, that sometimes we need to remind ourselves what good things that has happened in our life, especially related to work. I mean, I always maintain a diary, and I always ask my client to maintain a diary of all the accomplishments that they had in their life. I mean, rejection, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, कभी rejection मिलेगा नहीं life. Nothing is perfect. So you need to understand that agar rejection mila, that is not end of your life. There are n number of things that you have done. If while sometimes we have a bad day, we have an anxiety in the morning and still we are working, that's an accomplishment in our own way. We did it. That's an amazing thing that we did. I mean, that's a tick on my diary that, okay, fine, I had an anxiety, but I still did my day. I was still productive. I mean, that is the best thing that you can ever do. So reminding yourself all the good things that you have done. I mean, open your diary, just go through all the things. Just write it down. Today something happened with me. Okay, I'll write it down. So I work in a school also. I'm a counselor there. And one day, I'll tell you, a few days back, and I was having a very tiring day. I did not eat the whole day and I was working. I did not get the time. And I went into my room in the school. I went into my room. I was sitting and one of the students came to me and was like, ma'am, this is for you. This is my, he bought a rose and he was like, this is for you. This is my last day. And I just want to tell you, you mean a lot to me.
Wow.
And that made my day. And it was a tiring day, but it was not a productive day. Okay. So that simple rose, and the moment he said that you mean a lot to me, it was a tick mark. And next time I have a bad day, I'll still remember that day, that one of the students came to me and said that, ma'am, you mean a lot to me. That means I did something good and I will always remember it. That was something, a small accomplishment in my diary that I will remember it in my entire life. And so, like I was explaining, I work in a school. So there are a lot of females I work with and few males. That's how the school culture works.
True.
And after COVID, when we joined, I saw a lot of females going through so much, because during this COVID, they had so many crises. I mean, they had financial crisis, they were at home, they were working, online classes, they had their kids around, they had to take care of the kids, they had to take care of the family, they were COVID positive, then also they were working, they were taking their classes, then sometimes our salary or everybody's salary was deducted. The crisis was so much that I could see so much pain and so much burnout on their faces that I had to literally hold them and tell them, are you okay? And that "are you okay" sentence was more than enough for them. With, okay, fine, at least there is someone to ask me that, am I okay? And then I did a very small activity with them. So I did this Secret Santa, just to spread happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we women have to be there for each other so that the other person get an upliftment, and they realize that they are doing something good, and there are people who can help them come out of the problem they are in. So this is also important. I mean, I know I'm a little off topic, but this is something I really wanted to share, that we are there for you. No matter what, I am someone who works with women mental health. And trust me, I have been working since 6 years, and I'm as a counseling psychologist, I am there if you have any issues. So I'm literally there. Talk to me if you have any issue.
So all you guys out there, now you know that there is somebody who's ready to help us, is easily available, approachable, and you can share whatever problem you're going through. So, so now I come to a very a question which happens generally, which comes, when you're interviewing, you're hunting for jobs, and you keep facing rejections. How do you deal with rejection? Because it is hard hitting. Like, you are a perfect match, and all of a sudden, don't know what happened. Why did I not get selected?
Just remember that you're awesome. One.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not just saying it for just for the sake of saying it, and I mean it. We women, like I just mentioned before also, we go through so many phases in life. And with all the phases that we are dealing with, still working so hard, still want to prove ourselves, still want to work on ourselves, still want to be at the top of every organization.
Right.
It's not the end. It's not the full stop. It's just a comma in our life, and the sentence is still there to write. We can still write the sentence because there's a comma. There will be 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection. But you should not stop. You should not stop. You should fight it. You should go ahead and fight for it. And this is very important for us to understand. Taking care of the whole household, taking care of our own mental health, with all the things we go through, PMS also, sometimes with the periods also, we have all the cramps and everything, still working. We are superwoman. We don't need anybody. We are our own hero in our own life. We don't need anybody to tell us if we are good or we are bad. Sometimes what happens is other people reject us, but we reject ourselves.
Absolutely. I think you made the point. We reject ourselves.
Exactly. So we tell ourselves continuously in our mind that they rejected. वो उन्होंने शायद एक बार reject किया होगा, but हमने हमारे दिमाग में multiple times reject कर दिया खुद को. When we can't accept ourselves, if we are going to tell ourselves that they rejected us, that means we are constantly demeaning ourselves. No, don't do that. Don't do that. In everybody's life, एक mistake, एक गलती, एक rejection होगा. You just have to accept it, move past it, and move on. It's just that you have to move on and prove yourself. If you are going to think about all the rejections, maybe it will motivate us at one go, but that negativity is going to be there and it is going to really affect us. So what we have to do is we have to put it aside and work towards what we want in our life.
Right.
That's what is more important. Don't repeat the rejection. Repeat the good things that has happened. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. We have learned something. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay. So, thanks so much, Mansi. I'm also overwhelmed with all the, tips you have given of don't reject yourself. I love this line. Don't reject yourself, and make a journal. At least there would be one thing which would be awesome in the entire day for you, and hold on to that. And thanks so much, Mansi, for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.